go to safe blind pick. And without that, if he wants to go for the Gnar, there's a lot of different counters that you can throw at him.
And the Hecarim being picked up here for BLG is really good. You get a little bit of that aggression that I was talking to, a little bit of a bridge, if you will, to try and get that early game to the late game. But I still feel like you have so many options for suiting. Like, you still have the Udyr, which is still going to be a fine matchup into it. You can take it into the aggressive stance as well and even do better with it. And after that first game, like, the domination that can come out from an Udyr is so scary to me. But they don't get the Kaisa away, and Kaisa goes in for Huanfeng.
I just want to say, this feels like Suning trying to teach BLG how to play the matchup. This is a watch and learn sort of game. If I had to pick the best Udyr in the LPL, I would go for SofM. I think SofM is actually the crazy Udyr that just steals away all your camps and is just constantly living in your jungle. And Suning are taking away most of the best picks right now from BLG. They're taking their Kaisa, they're taking their Udyr. This is super fun to watch, but it kind of hasn't hurt for BLG watching a team out execute their best comp.
And I do like the Rell Tristana combo for BLG. Not necessarily. I thought maybe they were going to go for the Alistar with the Tristana, because I like that combo a little bit more. You can have a little bit more direction in it. But I still feel like, as you were talking about earlier, Rell is just kind of broken. So being able to get that piece for BLG is going to be really nice. But then you get the tried and true classic, the Kaisa Alistar on the other side too.
Exact same 3 picks that BLG went for in game 1. By the way,
yep.
Just want to mention that one.
Exactly the same.
BLG, like we mentioned, Jinx, Suning has said that it's a bit of a counter into Tristana. You outrange the champion throughout the entire game, and you also can stop the rocket jump with flame choppers, even though there's a bit of a setup time. So we have seen BLG just ban away the Jinx in order to get to this Tristana. They don't want to give Huanfeng his MVP champion going in next. And it does look like BLG are probably setting themselves up for a Gnar pick. Pretty much the exact same draft that we have seen from Suning in game 1 as well. They're going to ban away the Camille. I still don't really like early Gnar. I feel like things like Gangplank are still a little bit too good into the Gnar matchup earlier on. But with the draft currently, it does look like Coach Kim is still going to go down the Gnar path.
We do have a couple particular bans coming out here in the second phase. Suning take away the Sion, the Jace as well, and the Camille coming away from BLG.
Yeah, the tried and true blind picks across the LPL have been mainly Sion, Renekton, and also Aatrox outside of Gnar. Those are kind of like the big 4 top lane blind picks that we see so far. And with Gnar open, it gives BLG a chance to go for something pretty aggressive.
They're going for the counter pick mid again, or at least, yeah, I guess again, because they were able to get the cats in the last pick last time around. My goodness, they're just giving Suning all the tools that they would want. I love the Gnar coming in for Ben. I want to see what BLG pick up here for their 2, right? I want to see what has this draft been leading towards for them, because you've got to find some strong pieces. And speaking of some strong pieces, I would love to see priority in the mid lane, something to really get them off the ground running.
Yeah, Lucian blind is a bit of a risky one, and this is the champion I wanted to talk about. Kennen has been BiuBiu's second go-to.
Yeah.
We have seen the champion priority, but his showcase on Kennen has actually been really, really poor. I don't think he's been doing a great job with his champion. And BLG, right now, they're setting up an interesting draft. Okay.
All right. I like it. Hey, bring it on. You get Zeka's TF, his most played. One of it actually.
That's
yeah,
what
his
I wanted
most
to
played.
talk about, because it looks like for Suning the best pick is Syndra. It has pushback against the Lucian, and it's actually fairly difficult to play a lot of times for the Lucian. You have to stay ahead the entire way. But for BLG, they're willing to play Lucian in the bottom side. This is one of their specialties, is that they can actually flex a lot of different sides. So right now, of course, TF is committed towards the mid lane, and we're going to see whether the Lucian or the Tristana go into either of these sides. They can actually play both. They do have pretty good matchups on both sides into this one, but it does look like for the time being that BiuBiu will be taking the Lucian into top instead.
And the last pick for Suning was the Galio. So we still get the global or the semi-global map presence here from both mid laners. Maybe we'll get a lot of shenanigans in that aspect of it, but being able to have a bit of a double-edged sword here for BLG. They have a lot of high-risk, high-reward action gameplay.
Entirety of the rest of the team will be able to follow up, while BLG are doing sort of the same thing, but their focus is, once again, a little bit more split between having an aggressive top lane and also trying to get things done in the bottom side.
We'll see which plan comes to fruition, which team can come out on top as we dive into game number 2, BLG versus Suning.
Very aggressive top lane coming in from BiuBiu. You know, we have seen the Cole, we have seen the Doran's Blade, but he's going straight into max DPS.
Oh, okay, he's going to be able to dodge out of that one. I was about to say, this is about to end so badly for BLG to start it off with. But they do get the flash, so BLG going to have to be on the back foot towards the top side of the map.
They read BiuBiu like a book. They know he likes to go into the early brushes to get that chunk off on Gnar. You can actually just pop out behind the minion wave and still get a favorable trade. And this time around, Bin is actually going for super interesting runes. We have seen this earlier against Lucian matchups, I think Jace matchups as well. But with the Hail of Blades, you not only trade quite decently with the auto attacks, you also are insanely powerful in Gnar. Like that Gnar auto attack buff with the extra AD is pretty terrifying if you get a stun.
Well, and especially even with it, like you're being able to trade even more in those short-term engages, and against BiuBiu on this Lucian, that's what Lucian is looking for. You know, trying to get the passive procs, trying to get the bits of burst damage in as quickly as possible, and you're able to counteract that somewhat with that Hail of Blades.
And taking a look at the jungle pass, once again, BLG are doing a good job at their early level 1s. They know where SofM will start. And what we should be seeing here is BiuBiu, if he pushes the wave too far, it will require a Meteor to actually cover for him. So he's trying to find a good trade in before Udyr can show up. They know that Udyr is on the opposite side of the map, so he's fairly safe in these two lanes.
Gaming going in with a rocket jump just to make sure that Huanfeng and On are paying attention down here. They're dealing with the Tristana, the Rell. They always need to be on their toes. But a lot of trading going down. Not going to end up in too much because of the rejuvenation, a little bit of healing coming through from the health potions as well. But I feel like Aiming and J-Way have been a really good point right now and keeping this priority down here and trying to help their team out as best they can in the early game.
Yeah, now we're going to see mainly on how the top lane plays this one out. We will see Meteor and BiuBiu probably just rotate off, peel off to go for the scuttle rather than stay in lane, as SofM is trying to find his way into Lucian. Lucian doesn't have the flash. They're going in.
Oh, almost gets the flash bear stun. Luckily, BiuBiu is able to go around the wall there. Still gets the splash there. BiuBiu is still an ADC, and he's still very low level. This is going to be a 2v1 opted into by Meteor. Can he turn it? Meteor is going to get the kill, but he goes down himself, and that's 2 quick kills for Suning. Mid lane, though, Angel takes a brunt of damage from Zeka on the TF. He's not going to go down just yet, and it will just be a bit of a more rambunctious early game, Clement, but 2-1 still in favor of Suning.
I'm kind of surprised that that would happen, given the fact that BLG had full vision on where SofM started. They know that SofM started bot side, they know that Lucian doesn't have flash, so I expected them to peel off and just secure the scuttle, but they actually overstayed, and SofM very easily gets the kill to go through. That's, even though it traded back, it's still massively in favor of Bin, and he even gets the double buffs.
That feels really good up there now that against the Lucian. It's not going to be very fun for BiuBiu to deal with some of that pressure that Ben can have now, but bot lane, I was going to say, if Suning step up here, Meteor's right there to punish. Not going to happen, though. Just a little bit of trading back and forth.
Yeah, we're not going to actually see it come out the entire way. Both of the top laners actually elect not to use their TPs. So at this point in time, BiuBiu might still have a bit of an advantage here against Bin. And at least the double buffs wear off without much damage being done here. And we are going to see a top lane invade coming in from Suning, though. They are going to try and make this a vertical jungle style. Galio is almost going to tick 6, and we did talk about Suning, their ability to just close in on these fights very easily. So we should be seeing SofM paying a lot of attention into that blue buff. I think that's where the next big fight is going to show up.
Yeah, it was set up for a bit of invading. Looks like it might have to take a little bit longer for that to come to light. But we do have a Infernal Drag on the board here for about 15 seconds now. Has come down onto the Rift, is looking to be taken down by one of these teams. But it's not going to be the Rift that you're looking for. We're not going to get the Infernal Soul this time around. But I would like to see some early objective focus from either one of these sides. And honestly, I would like to see it from BLG.
Oh, this is so damaging on the side of BLG. Meteor is actually caught out on the back. So they know he's not on this side of the jungle. They're going to be able to track him quite easily. And at the very least, SofM might find this window to just punish BiuBiu once more.
Yeah.
As he is heading towards directly into the top lane.
He's walking. It's like the Jaws theme song playing right now, except that BiuBiu doesn't know it. And it's just slowly and surely going up that way. But it actually looks like Meteor is going to be trying to stop that one, trying to get into where he thinks that SofM is pathing towards, and having J-Way just around the corner in the mid lane, just available if needed, has been a really nice answer from BLG.
Oh, the zombie wards, the Poro right there was so nice coming out from Suning. It actually forces On to take another path. He knows he's going to be spotted, and just the warding advantage from Suning is massive on this top side. It's going to allow them to get this extra scuttle, even maybe focus down onto the bottom side. It's really interesting as they're leaving the scuttle for Gnar, rather than trying to take it and snowball the jungle further.
And getting a bit of vision themselves is BLG's bot lane. But yeah, I think the heads up warding from Suning, getting Angel back there, getting the control ward over the wall, having a lot of that presence in the topside jungle against BLG is really important, as we're going to be getting to the Rift Herald at some point soon. But it is all teams focusing down towards this bot side.
Yeah, actually Gnar doesn't even finish the scuttle necessarily. We are going to see a pretty aggressive start from SofM.
Yeah, they get the engage there as well. A lot of damage. The heroic entrance going to buy some time here. On is able to buy a lot for J-Way, but J-Way still goes down. And that's a nice little trade kill. You do get the jungler. SofM going down is a big boon for BLG.
It definitely is. He just stayed alive so damn long. It forces BLG to overchase a little bit, and they trade back one kill at the very end. J-Way is the member going down there, and BLG, at least with this priority on the bot side, are getting something done. Also a pretty nice roam from BiuBiu, cover up that mid lane. He also gets a plate there, so overall still a pretty nice win for Suning. In the meantime, Suning don't actually get this blue buff just yet. It's about to come up, and you can see on the map that is the next target for them.
It is indeed. It should be, at least, as you get a little bit of that Scuttle Crab action going, a little bit of invade action going, and with Meteor really not able to respond at this point, just looking down towards his bot side. This will be SofM getting a bit of that CS differential back in his court, but Meteor's going to be right back up there, and SofM might be surrounded. They've sniffed him out.
Is he going to get out?
I don't know. Oh, nice move, Zeka. Oh, but he's just going to go under the tower, and nobody's got a response. Okay, SofM is a bear. He is a quick man, and he will survive.
The Vietnam sleeper agent strikes again, just going past the Grom and avoiding all of the collapses right there. Very well done on his part. He only gets the Merc Wolves. He was going a little bit greedy on that one, to be absolutely honest. I felt like the blue buff is still more important, but you want to clear the entire side. And that's just SofM doing SofM things. He is the Prince of Thieves. He loves to steal away camps, but sometimes he can overextend a bit.
just a smidgen, Clement. Just a smidgen. That's you know, it's trying to feel out those advantages, try to feel out where you're strong. But I do really like seeing some of the pings at least coming down towards that Rift Herald right now. Has been alive for just a little bit, but I would like to see that tempo pace, or at least the pace, increase right now for either side. I do like that BLG is taking the onus to try and get some of that vision game around there, where, you know, Suning have been so good at keeping their vision up in predicaments that BLG definitely don't want to have on their map.
Yeah, looking forward into this game, though. We're going to see aiming in a lot of trouble.
That's a lot of damage. He's not going to go down just yet. Do they die for this? SofM looking for J-Way. SofM looking for aiming. They get the one kill onto J-Way, but aiming is going to get burned down by SofM.
Dies mid-jump. SofM knows his damage numbers perfectly. And I was just about to say that Suning, their late game damage composition actually relies very heavily on Huanfeng getting ahead. They're not going to get a lot out of the Galio or the Mini Gnar in most team fights. And that's when they strike. They know that they have to get Huanfeng a little bit more gold. He's one of their, like, basically he's going up against 3 DPS on the other side of BLG. And since they have full vision of the top side, Suning just go and play cross map. Really smart play there. They don't really care about that Herald, but keeping Huanfeng ahead is their main objective.
Yeah, we're looking into that. It's just Amy getting bullied around at that point. And unfortunately, it's the same thing we've seen time and time again. Udyr just running at you, and eventually you will die. As he used the heal, he used everything to try and get out of that one. But SofM is just too clean. I do like that BLG is able to get that Rift Herald. I know you said that Suning don't really care for that one, but at least it's an advantage in some aspect for BLG.
Yeah, they will go for the top lane most likely. I think BiuBiu is fairly ahead at this point, as we are going to see Angel try to find a coordination with on there. And I just want to go back onto that replay where SofM looked like he had such a leisurely stroll. He actually went back to put a little bit more damage onto J-Way before then realizing, oh, actually you guys got this. I can go for the kill.
My target is there.
He doesn't even try to finish off the kill. He knows the burn and the red buff is enough to just get it. So really well done on his part. Really nice cross map play. And now we are going to see Meteor be the focus of attention here.
God, that's so much damage in such a short amount of time from a Gnar. And that's not what you want to see from Meteor, who's just strolling along, as you're saying. We're keeping the theme going, but he gets aggressed on during his stroll. As it's not really where the focus can be. Although I was going to say that SofM was staying topside. I thought they might try to dive BiuBiu, but that might not be the greatest call.
We see SofM actually pinging out the position on Meteor that is blind. He just sort of knows based on where the pathing has been, usually from bottom to top the entire time. Well, yeah, when you see a jungler full clear basically every wave, it's not exactly, rocket science to kind of guess where they're going. So Suning's bot lane will at least back off a little bit more. They don't want to give them that potential kill into the Herald charge onto the bottom side. That would be pretty massive in terms of getting and setting up the next Drake over. So they'll just pull back a little bit, make sure they get everyone onto this next fight in the right position.
That is the key to the puzzle, key to the box, key to the treasure chest, if you will. But the dragon is going to be started up here by Suning. This will be their first dragon. The first one had been taken by BLG, but this is an ocean dragon going over to a team that's pretty ahead and not necessarily looking for too much at the moment. I would like to see, I was going to say, I was hoping for maybe a little bit of the mountain dragon in this case for the soul, but we're going to be getting the cloud soul, Clement. And a lot of focus into the top side.
Yeah, BiuBiu actually mistraded that very terribly, and now Angel is on the chase.
He popped Ghost, he popped Devastating Charge, but BiuBiu is the one that dies because Meteor gets out of dodge, and that feels so bad for BiuBiu.
Oh, he doesn't even get any of the gold here, so the reason that I said that they should drop this Herald into the top lane was, number one, it's already very low, and Lucian is one of those matchups. He's either very far ahead or he's very far behind. There is no in-between. He's feast or famine as it comes. So you want to get BiuBiu a little bit healthier onto that top side, make sure he's landing on the right foot. But BiuBiu actually just took 2 tower shots there. It got traded on very heavily by Bin, probably underestimated the hail of blades, and that Herald essentially is wasted because you didn't get the gold on the member you needed it on.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate how things kind of peter out towards the top side for BLG, but Suning are feeling really good at the moment. I think the bright spot for me it has been Zeka in the mid lane. On this TF, he hasn't been involved as much as maybe you would like to. We didn't see like the immediate pull downs for the Destiny gate and being able to just always joining Meteor, but he's been staying stable in the mid lane. He's been staying stable against Angel. He's been keeping Angel at least a little bit in the mid lane, and so that takes away some of that map pressure that Suning can have.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at that top lane once more. BiuBiu, oh, this is already when he's taken the tower shots already and zoned out completely. I'm not sure why we're focusing on this. that seems like a weird place to be focusing on the replay, but congratulations to the Herald. They do get the first tower.
They got the tower!
And I don't think they got any gold for it because it wasn't local. That's localized gold.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate. But, you know, it's the little things. All right, and the Rift Herald, that's confidence booster for the Rift Herald. Angel actually caught here, though, and Jayway comes over the wall, too. Gets the flash out, but On tries to get the headbutt. Meteor's there. There's the Destiny Gate coming in. Suning are actually in some trouble here, but can they get the follow? Bin's on the back line. Meteor's just gone. The split focus from BLG is going to be their doom here as the heroic entrance comes in, too, and Suning off of the back of another play that BLG tried to attempt is just going to come away whole-handedly with it. They take a double kill for Ben, make it 3 all the way, and Suning have ballooned this gold lead at 16 minutes.
BLG blow all of their ultimates trying to kill Angel, and Angel without an aftershock actually manages to survive there. My head hurts so much. I can't believe he was able to get out. It was Onslaught of Shadows, Destiny Gate on him, and there was a culling following him out. And he still survives that. I'm not even sure how he survived that. There was no heal on the side of Suning, but he just gets out alive. Just without even much of a scratch, and then BLG are just finding themselves massively overextended up into the ramp. We're gonna watch that again. Angel with a very nice flash to get out. Remember, he's playing a pure roam Galio, so no aftershock, no extra tankiness stats. He just walks out of it.
Look at him. Well, it's immediately BLG realizing that they're in a bad spot, right? I feel like after that initial engage where Rell or Jayway misses that crash down, you pull back on that one because they already know that you're fully committing. You see all the members pursuing coming down around, and as soon as BLG realize they've overstepped, they're pulling back. You still have Meteor in the front, a bit of miscommunication there, and it just all ends up in Suning. And now, back in live, we've got Suning doing the Rift Herald here.
Another massive lead for Suning once again, and that was just so disheartening to actually see out of BLG. I definitely agree with you, like you mentioned. Once Jayway doesn't find the pick, it's pretty much time to go back. You know, you can reset this one, but they overchase into the jungle. Really nice collapse and TP coming in from Bin to section away that one. And I want to see if BLG can actually use some Destiny Gates to find Bin at this point. Maybe that's where they want to get most of their action going. The soul lanes are still rather open here, but there's no one defending mid lane tower. Amy can't step up by himself against this one. It would fall to the Herald regardless, but they're just giving Suning some extra charges to work with here.
And that also means that Suning can just find a tier 2 or maybe even go back towards the top side of the map. I would expect them to go maybe for one of these tier 2s to that Rift Herald, but they are already looking at this dragon. This is going to be second dragon of the game for them, and this sets them up for getting into that objective goal that we set out for both of these teams, having gotten a couple of these under their belts, having split a couple of the objectives, but now next 5 minutes, you know, it puts them on sole point.
Yeah, I don't want to say BLG have a worse late game. I think it's definitely possible for them to still claw a win. Their front line in Rell and Hecarim is pretty much the tier 1 front line you can draft yourselves. But at this point, it comes down to the damage and the extra carries that they have on their side. BiuBiu is not where he wants to be. This is a counter matchup that they selected for themselves, and right now he's actually even down in CS against Bin. So Lucian is sort of that feast or famine factor. He's not going to be outputting a lot of damage, and I don't think he even has a chance to catch up this game. The same thing can kind of be said of Zeka. He's not going to dish out massive damage compared to something like the Galio and the Udyr just rushing in at you. So BLG right now, they pretty much, even though they have a lot of carries, they pretty much need to wait for aiming to be the one to form up. I don't think they really want to entertain fights until 2 items coming out from that Trist.
No. Meteor was just hoping to wait in the bush, not get caught out there. He's going to get taken down very, very low as SofM moves in to take the blue buff. The little note that I was going to make is Suning are just on point yet again with their vision control. They have vision all over the enemy jungle. They know exactly where Meteor is going to be pathing to. You see it unfold there. They knew he was in the top side of the jungle. They move in with a couple extra members. Meteor can't do anything.
Absolutely nothing he can do. He's getting his jungle strip mined once again, not only by the opponent SofM, but also just but also just his own teammates at this
tough.
point. And I feel like Suni can actually play the 1-3-1 game quite well. They have a really good potential. Ooh, we're seeing the damage exchange coming out right there. Huanfeng does stay alive throughout that trade. And once again, Suni do have actually a very good 1-3-1. They can collapse into the jungle quite easily. They do have that semi-global coming out from both Angel and Huanfeng to make use of. So once they push all 3 lanes across the river, I think that's where you're going to see the objective fights get even more dirty than they are right now.
Yeah. We do get that second charge off on the second tier tower too in the top side for Suning. So a lot of damage put onto that one. And what I'm starting to get worried of is that we're going to see a deja vu from game number 1, right? Where BLG were trying to force objectives, trying to force fights where maybe they didn't necessarily have to. And yes, they were at a very much different deficit last game around, but I don't want to see them getting caught in these positions again. We've already seen that Suning are so good at picking apart those team fights, and you've got some pieces that are working towards being set up. You've got 2 items on the Tristana, couple items on the TF, but you still need to make sure you're setting yourselves up the best you can for those fights, and that means not being put on the back foot.
Yeah, and they have pretty limited targets right now that BLG can actually catch. We have Zhonya's completed by Angel, and you don't really want to go on or SofM. So it pretty much leaves Huanfeng with Cleanse as their best target at this point.
Yeah.
Not exactly an easy one to get to at that either. So Suni just trying to play the catch game right now. They're just clearing vision again and again. And we do have this Predator Galio with Shirelia's Battle Song that can charge into your formation and still stay alive afterwards.
That's the little extra pieces that come through are so big for me, and I want to see how this kind of next little fights will play out. I will mention, I don't know, maybe you could call me crazy, the Chem Punk for on the Alistar. I like it. I like it. I know it's a little bit late in the game, but come on, it's fun.
Yeah, they're fully indexing into catch. I think the way that Suni will play this next one is they're keeping vision in the enemy jungle, and if Zeka is left on the left side of it, they'll probably just jump in onto him.
They have found SofM, but I'm not going to follow it up there. You see what that leads to. You use the Destiny Gate, you get in front of his face, you hit him with the yellow card, but there's no follow.
I will say that's actually decent for BLG because they do get most of the river vision back with Destiny Gate, just making sure that no one's in the brush. So I wouldn't take the results of that yellow card onto SofM. That looked kind of pointless, but they actually get their full value out of that play. They do make sure that, hey, no one's actually going to death brush us, so we can just walk in and make sure we maintain vision.
Trying to get some of those jungle camps back, but now I would have liked to see a little bit more setup towards the bot side for BLG. Clearing that vision, the top side feels good and dandy. You got Dragon Soul Point coming up for Suning. Unless you're trying to trade that Baron, then it's going to be a bit tough to reposition down there, although they're still sticking to the top side.
Yeah, I like what Suning are doing here. They have the rotational advantage on the map, so they're trying to play 2 sides at the same time. What they can do is they can actually just leave on here and pull Angel and Huanfeng back into the other side of the map. They don't have to really commit to either side. They have full vision control at this point. They've just cleared out the bottom side with SofM going in, and they will take essentially both objectives at the same time. So they've learned their lessons from game 1. If you focus on one, then maybe they'll get the other. Oh, bye BiuBiu.
Oh, BiuBiu. Oh, goodness. That is not the play. That is not the time. That is not the death that you would want, as it does not befit a fallen warrior. As that was a good call from Suning, honestly. Being able to capitalize on BiuBiu being caught. He still had flash. He still had everything, but the damage is too quick.
Yeah, the movement speed really good with the Shirelia's Battle Song, and that will be the Baron call for Suning incoming. BLG, they have to steal this one. We have seen crazier things happen before. I think it's going to come down to Zeka and Meteor if they can get the
Suning are just too good.
Oh,
BLG
no.
on the wrong side of the map, Clement. They got to get back home. They got to get home. They can't do it, though. JFA is completely caught here. You get this late TP coming in from BiuBiu. He's able to turn the fight a little bit, though. Meteor's on the back line. The culling comes through, but Meteor's already gone. And that's a double kill for Huanfeng, as BiuBiu's damaged, BiuBiu's late try at something in that fight did not come to anything. And that's Suning right back on the Baron.
Yeah, Suning have such great turn potential. You mentioned all this already, but the Turbo Chem Tank is there. SofM is kind of close to falling down right there. he finally keeps himself alive, and we are going to see Zeka. He does have the smite plus the flash. This could be the turnaround. But the jungle is reset, so Suning are actually losing a lot of HP on this one, and they know that Zeka is somewhere on their back line. Can they find him is the question, though.
Oh, he barely misses the house. Okay, so the Baron is already taken. Zeka's caught. That's the jump over by Ben and Huanfeng, as that is 5 Baron buffs making it out, and another death going over to BLG.
Salute to Zeka, you tried. Tried the best. I was waiting for it.
Go down with the ship, you will.
It's a very telegraphed play, but he did make Suning peel off for the Baron just a little bit. That was a good attempt there. Nothing more I could say about this one. But I feel like this game is just a microcosm of what went wrong with BLG this season. We sort of expected them to play around, never mind, got more action.
You don't get a chance. Oh, poor BiuBiu! He just... Somebody get him a Warmox just to give him the passive health or something, please! As he's just getting obliterated, and so is the rest of BLG. There is no hope. Full up Baron buffs. They're pushing in the second tier tower. Suning are looking for some lasting damage, as they're going to find Zeka's too, as that's a lot of lasting damage if you can continue to snowball this into a victory. That's the inhib tower going down. Next is the inhib, and they have a full up wave pushing with them, and they have a lot of damage on these towers. The only question is, do we see them overextend a little bit? Do we see them try to fight for this KDA, if you will? But it looks like they're just going for the Nexuses. It looks like they're just going for the end. There's the re-engage. There is J-Way going in. BiuBiu is trying to do some damage. They've lost one. It's a trade for each other. J-Way over SofM, but the second Nexus tower falls. They've still got 4 Baron minions, or 4 Baron buffs, and a cannon minion. Also, super minions now coming in. But is this where Suning back off? Is this where they decide to temper just a little bit and try to make it out? There's the yellow card going in, but it's not going to be followed up on. BLG a bit hesitant to follow up, but it is Suning who finally make it out of the base.
They nearly overextend on that one, but they have the sense in them to peel back at the very end. I was about to say that every dog gets its day, and Lucian's going to come out with the culling, find the comeback. BLG Miracle Run still intact. But Suning are actually trying to close this one off very, very safely. We're going to take another look at this one. Before BiuBiu, there really was no wave clear, so I agree that Suning could have tried to just end the game there, but with the crack control onto Rell and BiuBiu getting a good calling off, Suning eventually do call it quits.
And you see, Suning's idea is just to run it right back up mid lane, keep them on their toes, keep this Baron buff going, and have a huge wave to push with it. There's no longer a Nexus tower to defend anything. It's literally your bodies from BLG just being the only thing to keep you in this game, to keep you in this series. We'll see what their drawn line in the sand is going to be. Suning are looking here. On has already gone in for the engagement. There's the taunt. There's your main tank already gone. J-Way is done for, and this could be his last hurrah here if Suning want to continue to press. Look at the re-engage. Look at the heroic entrance. They could just focus the Nexus, but they don't even want to. They want to go for the kills, Clement, as they get forward after forward after forward movement into the face of BLG, but now they have turned their sights on the Nexus. They've turned their sights on the kills. They've turned their sights onto the playoffs as they take down BLG and will help solidify their placement in the playoffs.
Very clean win.
Game number 1. Game number 2, they just choke you out with the objective control, with the map movements, with the pressure put in the top lane against BiuBiu. There was just no stopping Suning in this series.
And we do have to take a short time to explain BLG's current position. They can still make it into playoffs, but it would require Rogue Warriors to defeat LNG. That is a bit of a tall ask, as Rogue Warriors so far has only won 3 games. You know, it's to mention that Rogue Warriors did beat Top Esports, but if that happens, then yes, they can still make playoffs, but they also have to defeat FPX afterwards. So
yeah.
A very, very tall order. Both of those things have to be true. They have to happen at the same time. The FPX thing, I don't actually think is impossible. FPX have not been looking that great. However, Rogue Warriors beating LNG, that's that's going to be a bit of a miracle.
And it's never fun when you're like hoping and wishing for somebody else. You don't have the necessarily all the way in your hands. Even if you can take it against FPX, you're still hoping for somebody else to drop the ball or pick up the ball, if you will. And I do agree with your point, right? BLG do have a chance against FPX. I think that's something we set out in the beginning of the series where, looking forward, things are looking a little rough. Things are looking a bit hard to deal with. But with the downtrend of FPX, with a bit of learning coming away from this Suning series as much as you can in a couple days, that's where I'm hoping that we see a refreshed BLG even off after a disheartening win or loss. Sorry.
Yeah, I feel like this series was a really good microcosm of why BLG kind of failed our expectations. BiuBiu in 2020, when he was playing on V5, he was actually a pure weak side top laner. He got no resources, he was just put on the Renekton constantly, and that's the role we thought they would fit in for him on BLG. We felt like they were going to put BiuBiu just on weak side top lane and try to get him to play engage. You have Zeka, who's early aggression, and you have Aiming, who's early aggression. So it was very clear to me that how this team was going to operate. They were just going to play toward the bottom side, forget about top, and then just play that way. But what we saw in the rest of the season was BiuBiu actually turned out that he couldn't play weak side anymore. It was a really weird change of events. He was a completely different person. He was like only Jason Lucian, and the game plan kind of fell apart from there because BLG had to focus on too many sides of the map, and oftentimes BiuBiu became a very easy target. In this game, I felt like he made a lot of just really weird mistakes, overextending on the first push and then dying with the Herald buff up on the top lane. And it just showcased that if BLG can just narrow their focus, just play towards the bottom side on things like the Sion and Ornn, I actually think they could do much better. They would have a much better chance at coming back into games where they're behind in the early phases, and they would have much better engage. But for some reason, they stick into this kind of a smorgasbord of a composition where they're trying to win all lanes at the same time and go feast or famine. And, you're just not Invictus Gaming. Even Invictus Gaming were barely able to pull that off this split. What makes you think that BLG can do such a thing? So I just want to see them just clamp down on BiuBiu. It's very late into the season, but that's the change I want them to make. Just put him on the Sion and be done with it.
Yeah, I'm getting the Too Many Cooks song in my head here for BLG. Just too many pieces to go try and play through, too many things to try and work through. And you're getting to the end of the season, so it's never a good thing to have so many things to work on moving forward. But you still have a chance. You still have momentum maybe for yourself if you can pick up that win against FPX, if you can hope for some things that are out of your hands to go your way. And talking about BLG a little bit in that fashion is really nice, and I love to give them a little bit more of something to look forward to. But now Suning, right, coming off dominant wins here back-to-back in this series, that feels really good moving forward into the playoffs.
I was very impressed by their vision control and just SofM's knowledge of where Meteor was going to be on the map. Almost always they had vision on one side of the quadrant of BLG's jungle, and they were able to pick their plays based on where Meteor couldn't reach. So that's a huge thing for them. Judging Suning's overall performance, I think they will still have a bit of trouble when it comes to the bot lane. I feel like their bot lane 2v2 is not necessarily the strongest. So against teams like EDG, where you have Mako and Viper on the other end, or against teams like Top Esports, where you have Zoe and Jackie on the other end, that's going to be their biggest hurdle. Because against these teams, they will consistently look for 2v2 kills. They will not let you just play getting your lane shoved in 24/7 and not punish you for that. So that's my sort of question for Suning. But if it gets into the late game, I feel like this is probably the strongest team in the LPL currently. I don't think EDG actually plays front-to-back teamfight as well as Suning does. And I don't think a team like JD Gaming necessarily has as good as a backline carry in Huanfeng compared to someone like Loken, who is much more about just trying to stay alive in those situations. So if Huanfeng leads and Huanfeng and Suning get to 35-minute mark, they are the Elder Dragon team of the LPL right now. You really don't want to face them in that time frame.
Yeah, and that's where I like the point you were making. Like, you're facing Viper, you're facing Jackie, you're facing some of these duos, and Huanfeng maybe is going to have a little bit of trouble in the laning phases trying to stay steady because as you said, that's been the biggest focus. We talked a lot about Huanfeng's positioning in the fights, being able to stay at arm's reach, being able to keep that sustained damage going down. But it's been a lot off the back of a strong early game from everybody else. You're getting ahead in other avenues, so it makes the focus of the team somewhere else potentially. And we saw that a lot in these fights today, where the fights are always focused on who initially engages. Nobody's worried about the ADCs in the back line.
Yeah. In most of these games, the way Suning has been playing out their bot lane is they're actually just letting the enemy push. They're not even really trying to contest a 2v2. They're only going in when the gank comes. So that's a style that I feel like is very punishable against bot lane teams that want to push their advantage and are constantly calling for 4v2 dives into the bot lane. I think they're going to have the most trouble against EDG and top esports. But the other teams, they should have a good time.
They should. Well, you know who else had a good time here? The catalyst for the team, Suning's SofM, is going to be getting the MVP.
Style of me strikes once again, and if you had any doubt whether Meteor or SofM was having the better split, well, I think this series really settles it as Suning run a clinic on against BLG. They take the same exact 3 picks that they drafted in game 1 and basically taught them how to play it. So when you're going onto the Udyr, I think it's very important to be able to be willing to go into the enemy jungle. That's why you pick early Udyr. He's never punished. It's very hard to actually lock him down with the Bear Stance early. He has one of the best clears, and it was very simple for SofM to snowball this game early on. And he had clear target, BiuBiu, just overextending. This was honestly super weird. I have no understanding. I don't know why BiuBiu was in that position at all. But they're able to pick that up, and throughout most of the game, they had a very clear vision advantage on the top side. This play itself was just off SofM, placing a bunch of wards into the blue buff. BLG had to spend time clearing it up, and he makes the counterplay cross map just onto Amy.
Yeah, you just see over and over again. It's literally SofM just running and making sure that he sets up a good front line for his team. And here it's a little bit more of a follow-up and chase down. But either way, that flexibility in the moment is something that I really think is big for Suning. And knowing, I say it all the time, the heads-upness, I guess, just knowing when to press those advantages, right? You can have a lead all day long. You can have the almost perfect game that you had in game number 1. But BLG were swinging in game number 2, trying to at least, and there just wasn't any possibility at least there. As I do get word, Clement, as we're going to be having an interview. So Wendy, take it away.